Greetings, everyone. This is Seth from the Horror Syndicate. This is Butterflies, Rankings, and Reviews, and I am continuing on with my journey through Supernatural. Um, this is a little thing I'm going to be doing where I'm going to be going back through every single episode in chronological order. I tend to skip around usually when I'm in the mood to rewatch Supernatural, as I said in my previous video. But I wanted to go back through in order, watch all of them, and kind of document my thoughts on each one of them. There's a lot of episodes. This is going to take me a while to get through, and as I've discovered, even with my first time around going through it, because there's so many episodes, you kind of forget about certain ones, some of the ones that maybe don't stand out as much. So that's what I'm doing. And just in time, I actually got my Supernatural hat in. It's got the anti-possession logo on there. So I thought that was pretty cool. And actually, before I begin, before I get into this review for the second episode of Season 1, Wendigo, I do have to correct myself on my previous video. I foolishly, when I was talking about Dean playing the voice recording that John left him for Sam, I said that they picked up, I think I said an EMF, and I meant to say EVP, but yeah. So that's my mistake. That's on me. So anyway, let's get into the second episode. So the second episode begins with a trio of friends. They're camping. They're on their devices. One of them makes a video recording to send to somebody, which you later find out is his sister. And then there's growling outside, and their tent is attacked viciously. And then we catch back up with the Winchester boys, and we find that they're on the road. They're heading towards Black Ridge, Colorado. The coordinates that John left them previously in the last episode. And as they're heading there, it's established that Sam is having nightmares, sort of like Carrie-type nightmares, where he's visiting Jessica's grave, and a hand pops out. And the main thing with this episode is it's primarily about Sam dealing with his grief as they're going on this case. So Sam is a little impatient, and he just wants to find his father so he can find the thing that killed Jessica. It's a natural, I think, a progression of his grief and of his character, and I think Jared does very well. Actually, in this episode, really kind of conveying Sam's grief, but maybe I'll get back to that. So when they get to Black Ridge, Colorado, they find that the coordinates John left them was in the middle of the wilderness, and they can't quite figure out why. Meanwhile, they catch wind of a case, pretty much. This girl named Haley has reported her brother Tommy missing. Tommy is one of the people in the beginning of the episode, and the park ranger isn't too concerned about it because Tommy had signed a contract of sorts saying that he'll be out on a certain date, and they haven't reached that date yet. But she's concerned because he always keeps in contact with her, and so when they catch wind of this, Dean wants to investigate because he kind of wants to know exactly what's going on. He wants to know what they're maybe possibly heading into and seeing if it's related to what their father left them. But Sam is more, he doesn't really want to get involved. He just wants to go and find their dad. But Dean convinces them. They talk to Haley. They learn that Tommy, Haley, and their other brother Ben, played by young Han Solo in the Solo movie. I can't pronounce his last name, so I'm just going to keep calling him Young Han Solo from now on. And basically, their parents have passed away, and the three of them are all they have, and they keep in close contact with each other at all times. So Haley definitely knows there's something up. Sam and Dean, they get the last video that he sent her, and they discover that there's something kind of lurking around in the background. So they are going to investigate on their own. However, Haley is determined to go find her brother, so she has hired someone to bring her up into the mountains to search for her missing brother. And so the following day, they meet up. Haley's guide is a man named Roy, who is played by Callum Keith Rennie. He's actually a really good actor. I like him in a lot of stuff that I've seen him in. And he's kind of like he's skeptical, and he's kind of I guess dickish. It's the type of character that he usually plays and plays well. So they the five of them head up into the mountains in search of Tommy and his friends, and along the way, Sam and Dean discover that what they are dealing with, in fact, is a Wendigo, and so things happen up there. Eventually, Roy is killed. Dean and Haley, they get taken by the Wendigo. However, Dean left a trail of peanut M&Ms for Sam and young Han Solo to follow, and they go down into the underground caves, or I don't know if it's a mine shaft. I can't quite remember, even though I just watched it again. And eventually they confront the Wendigo and they defeat it, and they find Tommy. He's alive, and then they head back out on the road in search of their father. So that's the basic of the episode. I'm not quite sure yet if I'm willing to talk kind of spoiler stuff. I don't know. I don't know how people feel about that. I mean, if you haven't watched Supernatural, would you even watch this? I don't know. But let me know, and if I need to get more detailed, I definitely will. So it's really refreshing to go back to these early episodes after seeing the bigger picture of the series, of how the show has evolved over the years, and it's changed. It's changed quite a bit in terms of its style, even. It kind of lightened up a little bit on the heavy atmosphere and horror that they had in the early seasons, and the scope became much bigger when they got to angels and all that stuff. So to go back to these smaller episodes where it's just the brothers and they're just on the road and they're trying to figure things out. They had to knock off a couple of different things they suspected to be whatever it was in the woods, including like a skinwalker and a black dog, I believe they said. So I really miss that. And so these early episodes are really fun to go back to. And just the simpler times of the show, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the later seasons at all. It's just, that's the way things have to be. They can't just stay the same. I recognize that, but I just have a strong attachment to the earlier seasons. And then when I watch these episodes, I'm like, I remember why, I remember what made me really love the show to begin with. So as far as the episode goes, I don't think it's quite as strong as the pilot episode, and it's not one of the best in the first season, but I think this is still a strong episode, particularly with how it's really, at the core of it, it's about Sam dealing with his grief over the loss of Jessica, and even with Dean noticing the kind of behavioral changes in Sam, the way he's more, as Dean puts it, shoot first, ask questions later, the way he's more impatient, and there's a moment later on where they're talking, and Dean says that classic line about their dad wanted them to pick up where he left off, saving people, hunting things, family business. And there's just, I think it's a good moment between the actors, and I think Jared Padalecki actually does really well in that scene. Like again, as I said, he really kind of conveys the emotions that the character would be going through, and they feel very real and very natural. It's not over the top, and it's not kind of like in your face in a way where you know that it's obviously dramatic for dramatic's sake. The way Sam's grief is handled is actually really well done and seems really natural, like this character would really be going through that, and and there's the natural ways of how people react differently to things, how people handle things differently, and it's just kind of fitting for the character. The Wendigo himself, I kind of wish had I wish the design was more like a Wendigo, but it's I don't know what the budget of the show was back then. It was the first season, second episode. Imagine they didn't have. I mean, they worked with a lot, but who knows how much they had. And it doesn't really hurt, I kind of liked how they explained the Wendigos or this particular version. So it was good. I really I like this episode. I don't overly love it. It's not one that I kind of go back to and rewatch a lot, but when I do, it's a nice refreshing trip back to, like I said, the simpler times of the show, when it was a little bit more horror centric, and when it, I mean, look at the way it's shot. I mean, it's dark. The lighting is dark. It almost, especially when they're out in the woods, it almost feels like they used a lot. It almost seemed like a lot of natural light. So yeah, I like the episode. Don't love it, but I think it was a good continuation. As far as the characters go, it was a good progression of where they would be following the events of the first episode, and it really helps kind of set up the bigger mystery of John, why he hasn't called and why he's leaving these clues instead, and good episode. So that's going to do it for this episode of Bundle Fives Rankins Reviews, my Supernatural Season 1, Episode 2. I'm hoping to be back sometime soon to do more. So if you like this, give a thumbs up, and if you want to, subscribe. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If not, that's fine. I got a lot of room to improve. I do. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. So anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good night.